Welcome, everyone. You know, sometimes you read something in a historical text and it just doesn't add up. Today, we are diving deep into one of those puzzles, a real head-scratcher from the Apostle Paul. He talks about his life like he's in this desperate, all-out race for a prize that, by all accounts, he should have already been guaranteed. So what's really going on? Just listen to the language here, that I may attain to the resurrection. You can almost feel the grit and the strain in those words. This isn't just some casual hope he has. No, this sounds like an Olympic athlete straining for the gold medal. This was the single-minded focus of his entire life.
And right there, that's the big mystery we need to unpack. I mean, if you're familiar with Christian teaching, you know that salvation and resurrection are supposed to be free gifts, right? They're based on grace. So why on earth did Paul talk and act like he was in the fight of his life to win it? It seems like a huge contradiction, but if you stick with me, the answer is going to unlock a whole new way of looking at things.
So, to really get what Paul was aiming for, we actually have to start with what he wasn't aiming for, because it's not what you might think. Okay, first things first, Paul was not running a race just to be saved. That's crystal clear. Scriptures like Ephesians 2:8 hammer this point home. Salvation is a gift. You can't work for it, you can't earn it. For Paul, that amazing gift wasn't the finish line, it was the starting block for an entirely different kind of race.
So if it wasn't salvation, what else is there? I mean, what are some of the other hopes that believers are told to look forward to? Well, the Bible actually lays out several pretty incredible goals.
You've got inheriting the earth, getting a crown of righteousness, escaping the final judgment. And hey, these are all powerful, totally valid hopes. But here's the thing, none of them, not one, really fits the intense, desperate, I'm giving it my all language that Paul uses. He was aiming for something more specific, something different.
And this is the pivot point for the whole discussion. What if the way we think about resurrection is just incomplete? What if there's not just one big resurrection at the end of time? What if there are two? This is the key that unlocks the whole puzzle.
All right, so look at this verse. This gives us a perfect snapshot of the standard belief back then. When Martha talks about the resurrection, she means one single event, way off on the last day, where absolutely everyone, good and bad, gets raised up for judgment. That was the common understanding. So this is what we can call the final resurrection. It's the one most people think of. Everybody shows up. But here's the crucial insight. This big general admission event is not what Paul was training for. He had his eyes on a much more exclusive event. Okay, now look at this. This is where it all clicks. The Bible doesn't just talk about one resurrection. It seems to describe two completely separate events. You have the final resurrection for everyone, but there's also a first resurrection, and this one isn't a guarantee for everybody. It's a special prize for a select few. That was Paul's goal. That was the prize he was running for. So you've got to be asking, what in the world is this first resurrection, and why is it so special? What makes it a prize that a guy like Paul would dedicate his entire life to winning? And boom, here's the big reveal, straight out of the book of Revelation. The prize isn't just getting to live forever. It's about being chosen for an unbelievable position of honor, of service, and of real authority. It's about reigning with Christ. Let's just break this down for a second, because this is huge. This isn't just about getting a pass into heaven. We're talking about being given a special status as blessed and holy. We're talking about total immunity from that final judgment. And on top of that, being made priests and co-rulers with Christ himself for 1,000 years. This is a VIP elite-level prize. And this whole idea is tied to the concept of first fruits. Think of it this way. In ancient Israel, a farmer would take the very first, the very best part of his harvest and set it aside as a special offering for God. In the same way, the people in this first resurrection are seen as God's special portion, the first fruits chosen from all of humanity. So, now that we have this new lens, this idea of a special prize, let's go back and look at Paul again. All of a sudden, his intense, athletic language just snaps into perfect focus. See? It all makes sense now. Paul wasn't running in fear, scared of losing his salvation. No, he was training like an elite athlete with laser focus, straining every single muscle to cross the finish line and win the ultimate prize, his place in that first holy resurrection. This also explains his incredible drive. Paul saw himself as starting the race late, way behind everyone else. This is the guy who used to be on the other team, actively working against Christians. That backstory lit a fire under him, fueling this relentless discipline to make sure that he wouldn't, in the end, be disqualified for this incredible prize. For Paul, it was all about being in that first group, the select few, the ones set apart as God's very own, chosen to rule and reign. It was about getting first place. And that really leaves us with a powerful question to think about. For Paul, the race wasn't just about being saved, it was about winning the prize of the first resurrection. It makes you stop and ask yourself, what prize defines the race that you're running?